I was told that Nimona's great, and I was also told that Nimona's It's like one of those things that I got like completely mixed messages on, so I am more than excited to see if it's worth watching.
Nimona, an animated movie that was recently released on Netflix that many believed would never see the light of day.
We are living in an era where times are changing, where Disney is taking L after glorious L, and finally, we will be able to see an era of good animation.
This film was in the dirt. The funeral was over. Mourners were having some post-burial hors d'oeuvres. And then Nimona's fist just shoots out of the ground while screaming, "I lived, bitch." For those who don't know, Disney had the opportunity to distribute this movie, but was like, it's a bit gay, and decided to—
You're joking. It was too gay for Disney? Oh my God! Dude, this is the ultimate L. Disney, the studio that is literally dying by pandering its ass off to like the mega woke crowd. That is literally how they are losing their ass in the box office. They missed this absolute smash hit because it's too gay? That is poetic justice!
to scrap it instead. The film was originally going to be a production from Blue Sky, the folks who made Ice Age and Peanuts. But in 2017, 21st Century Fox, the parent company who owned Blue Sky, was purchased by Disney for a whopping $71 billion. So now Disney was in charge of Blue Sky. In 2021, Disney shut down Blue Sky because apparently it was too expensive or something like that.
Because
At
Disney
the time,
sucks.
Nimona was apparently like 75% completed when Disney made this decision, with many of the folks who worked on it obviously heartbroken to see their hard work wasted. There were also rumors from Blue Sky staff that executives from Disney were extremely apprehensive of LGBTQ themes in the movie.
What does that even mean? They have gay characters in every single one of their movies. Even if they add absolutely nothing to the plot, they'll just shove in characters that like dick, all right? But this goes too far. What, they want token gay characters, but they don't want gay characters that are actually like well-written characters? Is that the problem? Oh my God, dude. This is my favorite Disney L I've ever seen.
Clearly, the gays were not profitable enough for Disney to give a shit. A gay Cyclops who was on screen for 10 seconds that can be edited out for international distribution? Hey, sure, why not? But main characters who are men kissing? Disney was like, hey, you know what? We'll do that once it's profitable enough and not a second sooner. Well, carve up a slice of humble pie for Disney because they've been eating nothing but shit at the box office as of late.
Yeah, Disney, suck my fat butt.
Lightyear, flop. The newest Indiana Jones movie, flop.
Yeah.
Elemental? Well, it's actually picking up steam as of late, but compared to most Pixar films, yeah, it's
compared to most Pixar films, it was a complete disaster. Yes, they didn't lose $200 million. They only lost $100 million.
But Netflix here was able to score a win by salvaging Nimona, and apparently broke records on their site with it. Now, I wouldn't praise Netflix wholeheartedly since they've been silly billies of their own accord with scrapping their own animated properties as of late.
This doesn't redeem Netflix from canceling Inside Job like that.
Redwall adaptation from the folks who made Over the Garden Wall is dead. Oh, I'm gonna lose it. I'm going to actually lose it. But Netflix helping with Nimona, hey, I would call that a win. But here's the question. Is the movie actually good? Nimona was originally a webcomic created by Indy Stevenson, aka Indy. Now, as soon as I saw the visual style for Nimona, I thought to myself, this looks like something from Tumblr, which, hey, I was 100% correct. I also get some, like, Adventure Time vibes from the character designs. The webcomic ran on Tumblr from 2012 to 2014, and it would eventually turn into a graphic novel. In 2015, Blue Sky announced the production of the film, and then, of course, you all know the rest.
So good,
with, like, Disney buying it.
That's a really good adaptation. God damn.
It's scrapping it, and then Netflix reclaiming it. Now, I do wonder, though, if a reason why Netflix jumped into the fray is due to Indy's previous connections, since he is the
From what I saw of She-Ra, it looked kind of bad, though.
showrunner of the She-Ra reboot on Netflix.
Oh.
Hey, work is very important when it comes to business, so I wouldn't doubt it.
It was fine, yeah.
I get those good connections, you know? Now, I've never
She-Ra was good at some points. What is no one saying? Yeah.
never read the webcomic or the graphic novel, though I did skim through it after watching the movie, but I wanted to go into the movie with zero impressions. The movie was directed by Nick Bruno and Troy Quayne, with quite a few folks with writer credits. Now, I'd imagine that this is due to the movie being passed around from studio to studio, which makes sense. Gonna give you all a synopsis of the movie, but just giving you a fair warning, spoiler alert from here on out. Nimona is a sci-fi
I'm down to get spoiled. I'm
which
down.
was a pleasant
Spoilers don't really ruin it for me for the most part.
surprise. I thought it would be just
Spoil the hell out of me,
but
Daddy.
the sci-fi
My
infusion
legs
was
are spread.
an interesting twist. It gave me Overwatch vibes with the high-tech knights with laser shields.
Yeah, it gave me Overwatch vibes too when I saw all the Nimona porn everywhere.
The story's about a kingdom that defeated monsters long ago, and how an order of knights stand in constant guard to protect the city. The said order was created by a legendary knight named Glorith, the utmost hero of the people. 1,000 years
Let's
pass,
go.
and a character by the name of Ballister, a commoner, is allowed to enter the Order of Knights by permission of the Queen. He quickly proves his worth, and even has this really cool dude who is a descendant of Glorith as a best buddy.
All right.
You know?
Sure.
His name is Ambrosius, and they are just the closest of good friends.
That's pretty
just
cool.
a couple of pals. Just a couple of guys being dudes.
Ew.
Yeah, they're gay as hell.
They're just guys being dudes.
And it's a great setup for the rest of the movie, though I do have my critiques, but we'll get to that in a moment. So, Ballister accidentally kills the queen during his ceremony.
What the frick? Oh man, oh man.
And is now on the run from the kingdom. He has to prove his innocence, and that is when Nimona arrives. Nimona is a shape-shifting, hell-raising anarchist who wants to team up
Oh my god, she's just like me, for real, for real.
with Ballister as his villainous sidekick. The two join forces to discover the truth and clear the name of Ballister in the eyes of the kingdom.
You need the squire? Then let's go get him. Let's go.
After that,
That's funny.
I was invested in the story.
It's
a murder
cute.
mystery romp around a sci-fi fantasy-inspired city? Hey,
Dude,
cool.
fantasy knights are the coolest blend that it's so hard to do right. In a fantasy sci-fi world, why are people wielding swords? It's hard to do right, but when they do, it's just such a great aesthetic.
Cool. Kind of gave me Zootopia vibes in a way, but
Okay.
with more chaos and less furry. Well, hold on, I technically was some furry due to Nimona's shapeshifting, so, okay, how about that?
When you see that big pink thing, you're not gonna be like, oh wow, furry. There is no porn of Rhino Nimona. I am willing to stake my balls on the line.
However, I was disappointed with the lack of world building. I expected to see more of the city, its people, and its culture. There's an implied emphasis on class division, and a big plot point for Ballister's story is how he came from the common rabble, something that was not
All right.
permitted for entering the Order of the Knights. But it was difficult.
When racism or classism is a theme, I really like when it's explored properly. I like when it has a full arc. I hate when people wield it like a weapon to make you feel bad for a character or root for a character. I feel like it really needs to be given all the respect.
To tell the difference among the people of the city. Like, besides the other knights hazing Ballister, I just saw the people as average people with nothing extraordinary about them one way or the other. They don't seem like they're downtrodden. They don't seem lesser than others. So it doesn't really impact me the same way as the movie is trying to, like, I guess, imply. It just doesn't.
My man Saberspark here being like, God damn it, these citizens are being treated way too fairly for my tastes. I like citizens when they're being stepped on, when they're being spit on. I hate seeing citizens be treated fairly. God damn it.
Feel authentic to me. Hell, Ballister himself needed a more compelling backstory or active goals in his journey to become a knight. There were moments he seemed like he was just kind of going through the motions and lacked the inner fire of achieving his goals. Sorry, I'm bringing up Zootopia again, but we saw that fire with Judy at the police academy and understood her struggles and goals. I don't really feel that with Ballister initially, but hey, it's forgivable. The movie makes up for it in other ways. There's a queen who gives Ballister a chance to switch things up by becoming a knight, and I wondered about her motives, but I assume they were just genuine because she gets killed early on in the film. We also
Okay.
have a character called the Director, who is very obviously the bad guy. A story about institutional oppression and bigotry, and there's a character who oversees an elite order of purebred knights and has the title of Director.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not a stretch of the imagination. The thing that interested me the most in the story was the divide between Ballister and
Dude, and it's so wild how, like, all the knights are wearing white and he's wearing black.
Ambrosius. We're under the impression Ambrosius loves Ballister, but due to his station and heritage, he is now pitted against the man he loves due to legacy and his knightly vow.
That's pretty good.
He loves the guy from the other side of the tracks, but does he have the ability to see past the veil of discrimination? Can his love for Ballister overcome societal pressure and institutional hierarchies? The
Damn.
movie does check this box, but in a way that felt lackluster. It was good. You know, it was
Wait, what? They just meet up in secret? Aw, man. Aw, man.
fine, but it could have been better. I'll touch back on that here in a moment. Then we got Nimona. Hey,
Dude, she looks awesome. She looks like the best character for sure.
good incarnate with an appetite for screwing with institutions. Definitely
Yo! She's just like me, for real, for real.
would have been best friends with the rock and roll Spider-Man from Spider-Verse. I think his name was Hobie. Yeah, that guy.
I freaking love Hobie.
He's awesome. Nimona's got this gremlin energy and shows up when Ballister's
I love that so much.
His name
Dude.
Hobie? Yeah, that guy. He's
Gremlin
awesome.
energy.
Nemona's got
Dude, just knocking things over for the sake of knocking them over. She has Nux energy, for
gremlin
real, for
energy,
real.
and shows
She's
up
Nux pilled to the max.
Ballister's life as an innocuous hellraiser, but would eventually reveal that she is, by the definition of the city, a monster due to her shape-shifting powers. She can turn into animals. She can turn into other humans. Seems like a lot on the table, though I wish the movie would have gotten even more creative with it. But hey, oh well, it's fine. It gets the job done. For the action scenes with battles and chases, I was having a blast with the animal shapeshifting. Made me think about
This is
the
like Beast Boy, except pink. This is just Barbie Beast Boy.
Third-
He's also Gremlin energy. Oh my god, Beast Boy and Nimona are literally the same person.
Emperor's New Groove when Cusco and Pacha are running from Yzma, and also made me think about the wizard battle from Sword in the Stone. You know, the only good part of that movie.
Yeah, that was the best part of the movie for sure.
Oh, you want to play rough, do you?
Nimona's character gets more fleshed out as the story progresses, which I do appreciate. Her motives are revealed to be more than just, I'm bored and I want to do crime. Apparently, she was the monster, quote unquote, that originally was defeated, quote unquote, by Glorith 1,000 years ago.
What? That's a twist. Holy shit.
That the two were once friends. But where the city believes that Nimona was a bloodthirsty monster, she was actually harmless and was rejected by the people 1,000 years ago for being different, with Glorith betraying her too. Admittedly, this was a weak plot twist. I'm all for Glorith once being friends with Nimona, but Glorith's change of heart was very sudden and needed more impact in my opinion. Perhaps a miscommunication
all right.
or an accident that left Glorith afraid and confused. But instead, she just immediately sided with her village and somehow became a legend in the process? Needed more substance there, movie. The very same way that Ballister needed more substance.
That's a little weak. I feel like if this would have been a TV show, it would have had a much better way to flesh this out in 12 episodes. I feel like a movie's just not long enough to cover everything that they're really trying to. See, for like Zootopia, there were only 2 characters that they actually needed to flesh out. In this movie, there are 3. And it's really difficult to flesh out 3 completely separate characters in an hour-and-a-half runtime.
With his motivations. Well, at least his initial motivations. The finale itself was also a little simple for my liking, despite the awesome kaiju vibes. That's cool monster design, I like it. Ballister saves Nimona, the Knights and Ambrosius see the light, and Nimona sacrifices herself with a loose end that implies that she survived. Personally, I was hoping for more friction between Nimona, Ballister, and Ambrosius. That Ballister was stuck between 2 individuals gunning for each other's throats with Nimona and Ambrosius due to their understandably charged emotions and perspectives. The character of the director seemed like an easy scapegoat for a villain when we could have had something more dramatic and complicated with
I feel like they do that so often also. It's like the first half of the show, it's kind of aimless with who the main villain is, and then the villain is just the director who is racist and cruel and looks down upon people.
Nimona and Ambrosius. Like I said earlier, I skimmed the graphic novel after watching the movie, and it seems that was actually the case in the original story for the graphic novel.
What?
Also, Glorith wasn't a childhood friend of Nimona, I believe? I couldn't read all of it, but I noticed some stark differences when compared to the cinematic adaptation. If anything, it left me wanting a series. But knowing the history
There we go, that's what I'm talking about.
of the production of this movie, I'm just glad it exists at all. So yeah, for a movie with such inspired and mature themes, the plot
Yeah, there's no way Disney would be able to just censor out the gay romance.
itself was a little too safe and predictable for my liking. But what really saves this movie is the dynamic chemistry of the characters. The back and forth with Nimona and Ballister is the best part of the movie, with a character who is the grounded straight man, no, not straight like that, and then this
I see what you did there.
chaos gremlin who pushes the envelope. This type of dynamic is a classic duo and can work very well when done right, which is mostly the case in this movie. My one complaint, though, is the occasional tonal whiplash, which is, again, why I wish this could have been a series with the chance to pace things out. It's weird to go from seriousness of discrimination, then to cut to a dance number montage with a shark eating pizza. Also, there's a bit of irony it's hard to ignore when Nimona is like, I'm not a monster. And then the next scene is like expressing her interest in killing people. Though, again, gotta underline
Yeah, it's hilarious.
the word irony. I think that's just Nimona having fun. But for the people of the city, not in on the joke, it doesn't really help her case with winning them over. But then again, they always oppose her regardless, so maybe I'm just wrong on this one. All in all, though, Nimona has a lot of
Some people are vilified, so at that point, why not just be the villain? I feel like that's a really common mentality, not just in television, but on social media, for example. When someone gets vilified by everyone, they realize, well, I'll just be the villain, and they get a million times worse. Like, if you look at Aiden Ross, the man wasn't nearly as bad as he is right now before he got vilified. When they vilified him, that's when he really went crazy. That's when he really started doing some real heinous shit.
And is undeniably the nucleus of the movie, which is good for a movie named, Nimona.
I
I
guess.
briefly mentioned the themes in the movie and how they weigh in more on the mature side.
Ow.
The long-standing prejudice of institutions, the discrimination of people outside of said institutions, socioeconomic division. But the biggest theme seems to be identity, which is represented in Nimona and her ability to shapeshift. How she's perceived as not normal and a threat. There is undeniably an LGBTQ subtext in the story. But in a way,
Is there really such a subtext? The main two characters are gay.
how there's a gay relationship, but it's not the focal point of the film. It's also never treated in a hostile way from the antagonists of the story. It was a normalized
Yeah, that's really how you have to do this stuff. You can't make it stick out. It has to be, if you want to normalize it, it has to be normal in the story.
approach that never overtook the plot or the characters and was just a thing. And I really respect that. Now, I'm sure some folks will still complain, saying like, it's a woke. But I'll take this over Disney pretending to care with zero conviction any day.
That's how I started this whole thing. Hold this fat, colossal, quivering, pulsating L, Disney.
The end even has a line of dialogue that was along the lines of, maybe we were wrong all along, which was very powerful.
That monster is a threat to our very way of life.
And what if we're wrong? What if we've always been wrong?
The music was good.
That is a hard-hitting line, especially today when I feel like most debates that are held between different parties, whether it's political or otherwise, everyone has their own mindset, and there is nothing anyone could ever possibly do to change it. No one will change their minds. They are going into this. It's like, dude, when you see people say, listen, let's have a rational debate, maybe my mind will change. Your mind won't change.
Love the rock and roll. It was a perfect match for Nimona and her goofy chaos. The voice acting was also great. You had the actor for Hit Girl from Kick-Ass, Chloe Grace, as the voice of Nimona, which was wonderful casting, along with the rest of the characters. Visually, the movie was a blast, though I do have a few hangups. Again, it's hard to be 100% critical against a movie that was on its deathbed, but I'm gonna voice my opinions anyway. First off, the stylization was excellent. The animation industry itself has been shifting towards more stylized movies and shows as of late, and I am 100% here for it. If anything, Nimona gave me Arcane vibes with its shading and textures, though to a lesser degree. The backgrounds in this movie,
Like, just from what I'm seeing, there's no shot this even compares to Arcane. I am one of the staunchest Arcane defenders you will ever see.
cross as vacant at times, which is particularly conflicting when looking at city scenes. Like, it's not bad, just a bit too sterile. Maybe this was a creative decision or a restriction because of the budgets, but either way, it left me wanting for more, especially with my previous desire for more world building. The setting itself was like an urban city from an Overwatch level, surrounded by the wall from Attack on Titan. Cool concept, but yeah, need to be fleshed out a bit more in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the character designs and animation are the real winners when it comes to visuals. I loved how expressive the characters are, from their mouths, their body language, and especially their eyes.
I like that also.
The eyes made me think about Klaus in a way, which is absolutely a compliment. There's also a cartoony energy to the film that works well with the action scenes in particular, with dynamic movement and composition that is exciting, especially when a shapeshifter is involved. The escape scene in the first act was a blast and kept you guessing with what animal might appear next to help Nimona and Ballister
And then she booped him. She booped
get out of
him.
a jam. Now, I do wish we got to see more in that regard, since the novel itself had a dinosaur. But hey, again, it's all good. I was satisfied with what we got. Also, Nimona's human design was fun as well. Like, I really liked her shape, and it felt fresh and unique. It fit her very well with her personality. And by God,
she struts around.
expressions steal the show.
The one-arm club's about to get some new members.
Oh, look at that gremlin smile. Dude, I love the style.
Get it?
Overall, Nimona was the movie that refused to die. And I respect the production company Annapurna Pictures for giving it a second life, and that Netflix was willing to host it. Again, it seems like a more substantial story could have been told here, but as far as the movie adaptation goes, I enjoyed it. But once more,
Alright.
the animation industry finds itself in a very interesting place right now, where Pixar and DreamWorks are struggling with theatrical releases like
Yes, fail, crumble, chaos.
Elemental and Ruby Gillman. Nimona breaks records on Netflix. But here's the question. Was it a financial success? It's hard to say, since Netflix is hush-hush when it comes to metrics. But the movie survived. And I think that's more than enough of a victory, considering its circumstances.
100%,
Hopefully,
bro.
the folks behind Nimona can continue to create inspired movies and shows. And the distribution companies will have the marketing fortitude to support said creations, instead of letting them drop into oblivion. Theaters and streaming are both in a very precarious and interesting spot right now, as viewers are expecting to be wowed in order to spend money. If a movie and its marketing can't achieve that, then I don't know what happens next. Guess we'll have to wait and see. Hey, I want to know what you all thought about Nimona. If you watched it, post your thoughts down below in the comments. I'll see you all next time.
That was a good video. I'm happy to see Netflix take a W from Disney. Not that I love Netflix by any means, just watching Disney fail, it just, oh God, it makes me so hard. Like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. Stay weird, fam.